people to wake up that this is a reality?
You know, I talked to an old codger, a retired bird colonel, who was involved in that whole thing, who, before he died, said, you know, he always had the impression that the crash was not an accident. He always had the impression that they had given us that hardware just as a wake-up thing. And I thought, now that's an interesting approach. I had never thought of that myself. That the guys upstairs, whoever they are, whatever their purpose is, orchestrated that whole damn mess over there in Roswell and the other two as well, that just as a wake-up call to see how we would react to it. Then, of course, you have the other side that said it was strictly an accident, that we brought one of them down, or we screwed up its guidance system with our pulse radar. And then there's another theory that because our radar screwed up their guidance system, two of them ran into each other. So you hear all these stories, Lou, and I don't know what the answer is. I just know this. Roswell did exist. Hardware was retrieved, and bodies were retrieved. And from the other crash, up there on the mesa, about 100 miles away, they retrieved living crew members. Kept one poor guy alive for over a year.
Now, at any point, did this particular craft have some kind of a I don't know, maybe a homing beacon on it or anything? Where I don't want to. I'm not trying to sound goofy, but like maybe a mothership had to come out there or something?
Well, according to eyewitnesses, there was one observation made that at the crash site, guys at the crash site looked up and saw what appeared to be another craft in the sky watching the whole damn thing. Now, whether they were interested in trying to retrieve their own guys or their own hardware or what, but people at the scene actually said they looked up and saw what appeared to be a UFO hovering over the scene. And that has not been uncommon. That's happened several times. I know that the Army was worried for a long time that the guys out there, whoever they are, were going to come and pick up their survivor. And that really had some, that really got them uptight, because they worried about that for well over a year until the poor little dude died. They thought that they were going to come back and get him. Well, they never did, of course. And then after about a year, they couldn't figure out how to feed him, and he just sort of withered away. But it's a hell of a tale. It's a great story. It's absolutely magnificent when you really get into it and dig and find out how incredible it is. Damn it, Lou, we're not alone, and apparently we've never been alone. And as I said in some of my work, we've had what I call an intimate interrelationship with at least one of those groups from out there, from the beginning of human history.
Well, I would definitely agree with you.
Part of the problem, and again, this is another reason why you can't depend on government to release any of it, is that there's more than one species out there. And apparently there is at least one that is benevolent and at least aware of care about us, to not let us blow ourselves up. But there apparently is evidence that there are other intelligences out there that may not be quite so benevolent. And that is another reason why they don't know what to say. They don't know how to release anything, because how do you tell people that there are advanced intelligences out there that don't much like us? Some of those people out there think of us as a primitive and savage and dangerous race. And I'll be honest with you, Lou, so do I.
I agree. All right, I got to take a short break, and when we return to the Lou Gentile Show, we're going to be talking more about UFOs, government deception, Roswell, and more with Bob Dean, retired Command Sergeant Major, UFOologist, researcher, and lecturer. Taking your calls when we come back to the Lou Gentile Show, 1-800-594-9270. That's 1-800-594-9270. Tonight's show is brought to you by International Broadcasting Corporation, ticker symbol IBCS. Get in on them now. Stocks are going through the roof.
Welcome back to the Lou Gentili Show. Phone lines are now open. Call the Lou Gentili Show toll free at 1-800-594-9270. Phone calls aren't screened. They aren't staged. You're put on the air. And now, here's your host, Lou Gentili.
One 1-800-594-9270. That's 1-800-594-9270. Speaking tonight with Robert Dean, retired Command Sergeant Major. He's also a ufologist, researcher, and lecturer. Check out his website, beyondzebra.com/BobDean.htm. That's beyondzebra.com/BobDean.htm. Find out more information. Also, check out our website, LouGentili.com, LOUGENTILE.com. If you're in the chatting mood, there are a whole slew of people in the chat room, which I'm in, and I constantly monitor during the show. You can just go to LouGentili.com, and on the left-hand side, it says, I believe, I've done this 100 times, and you would think I'd get it right, right? On the left-hand side, under Interact, it says Chat. Click on that, and you can listen to the show and chat at the same time, or just chat, whatever you want to do. There are people in there now, and I suggest you go on in there and chat away. Anyway, don't forget, coming up at 12 midnight, we're going to be having a special report by Dr. Lear. Those of you who don't know Dr. Lear, he is the gentleman that does a lot, if not all, of the alien implants, and he's going to be talking about some information he has. So stay tuned for that at 12 a.m. Coming up in about an hour. Anyway, back with Bob Dean. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Lou.
Let's take a call here. You're on the Lou Gentili Show. Who am I speaking with? Well, you there? Hello? Man, did I mess that up or what? Bob?
I'm here.
Oh, sorry about that. My phone's acted goofy. I had to reset them earlier. See if I have the... Nope, didn't. Whoops. Anyway. Amateur night at the Lou Gentili Show. I'll wait for him to call back or whatever. Anyway, we've been talking a lot about Roswell and UFOs and whatnot. Any indication that the UFOs that people are seeing in the sky could be, as well as being extraterrestrials or possibly even interdimensional beings? Could they also be military things? Military objects?
Well, the realm of possibility, Lou, is infinite, literally.
Right.
When I left the service, I retired in '76. The military had known by that time that some of what they were dealing with were interdimensional. I don't know how they reached that conclusion, but that's one of the conclusions that they had reached, that these guys, some of them, are apparently coming from another dimension. Now, I've talked to physicists who tell me that that's literally probably how they travel in space.
Mm-hmm.
There's a brilliant physicist in New York City by the name of Michio Kaku, who has literally concluded that there are 10 separate dimensions. We live in the third, and there are 7 more out there. So God knows how many, it's unlimited almost. And if you've got intelligences from other dimensions coming, can you tell whether from other star systems or